Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 10th September 2022. So guys, from last 2 days we had to delay it mainly because there was some work going on and there was some noise. So to avoid it, we had to ensure it is late. But you can go through these because as they are quickly done and there are not much news to be studied. So now India, China to take up remaining LAC issues. In the previous video, I explained you that patrolling point 15 in Gogra Hot Springs area along line of actual control between India and China, both the countries have agreed for disengagement. And today, the China is telling that even though we have accepted for disengagement, we don't accept that areas taken by India is theirs. So this talks and processes will be going on. So nothing much, guys. Yesterday, if we have written about it, that is more than enough. Nothing much is important. So don't worry about it. Supreme Court allows bail to journalists Kappan, not required, guys. Bails and all not required. Don't waste your time. Please try to know what exactly are they talking about and what points are important, guys. So beyond that, don't waste your time. Now, editorial, guys. The stark reasons why Bengaluru is sinking. Yes, T.R. Raghunandan is a secretary, so his article will be important for us. So let us see what he is trying to tell about the Bangalore or urban floods, guys. This can be with respect to Bangalore or this can be with respect to any urban area for that matter. So the first thing he begins is by talking about when the rot began. So how did the problem actually start? So he said that as Bangalore started expanding due to IT sectors, so at that time most of the lakes and around the lakes, the water which will flow to the lake, all these were actually captured and quickly buildings were made. And remember, whenever you get huge buildings, around that slums also develop. But whenever there is heavy rainfall, both slums and rich buildings are equally affected. So the first concept here he is trying to tell is about this is a man-made disaster where people over a period of time due to corruption or some other practices they have captured the lakes. That is what it is trying to tell. And the second most important thing is what happened in Europe and what is happening to us. Yes, in this point, he tries to argue that in Europe, they also faced several problems, but when they were developing, nature was in a position to support them because at that time destruction was less. But today, we are growing when destruction is more. So if anything we do will definitely have negative effect on us. And he identifies two important problems, guys. In the first thing, he tries to argue that there are many free riders where people will come and settle in the city without paying the city taxes, which doesn't help in development of the city. See, he is a secretary, so he knows where actually the problem is. The first problem is there is no enough money available with the people. If you do not have proper money with you, that is with the BBMP and all, how are you expecting them to actually work for your development? Second thing is tragedy of commons, guys. Guess this I have explained you before as well. What is the meaning of tragedy of commons? The meaning of this is where bulwarks against. See, tragedy of commons means everyone feels it is theirs, but no one is ready to take up the responsibility. What is tragedy of commons? Everyone feels it is theirs, but no one is ready to take up the responsibility. For example, lakes, wetlands, grasslands, trees, and all, everyone feels it is theirs, but no one wants to protect it. And then he argues that we have to take tough decisions and ensure that our Raja Kaluways and all which were there, that streams and all which used to pass, we need to bring them back and ensure that it works in a proper manner. There's nothing much to write. His article is good. I want you to go through it once, but not required beyond a point. This end of an era is interesting about Queen Elizabeth II. In this, I just want you people to know that earlier Australia, Australia and Barbados, Barbados were also thinking that Queen was important. Later they removed. Now many countries which are under the control of UK may actually give up and say they are sovereign countries. And guess this year there can be question about Commonwealth group. So try to read about Commonwealth group in detail. See in Wikipedia and read about Commonwealth group in detail, guys. See, I'll tell you every year there can be a question about organizations, and in the newspaper, whatever is there, I'm trying to cover here. But before exam, all the important aspects in detail, I will try to cover again. Because see, yesterday when we were talking about Queen Elizabeth, the issues that we saw were different, and today the issues are different. So over a period of time, we will see that it keeps varying, guys. Opposition in a difficult fight, says Rahul Gandhi, not important. Bilkis case, not important. Oxfam India, not important. Army in Arunachal Pradesh receives modern artillery. Very, very important, guys. You see here, they are giving you certain aspects. Latest SIG SOR rifles, Negev light machine guns, Carl Gustav Mk3 84 mm rocket launchers, digital spotter scopes, fuel cell charges, right? I want you to write this, guys. This paragraph you write, and you can say that Arunachal Pradesh has got these things. That is more than enough, guys. Nothing much. Only this particular paragraph, guys. Supreme Court takes up. See, guys, Supreme Court takes up. Not important. Supreme Court has given a judgment. It's important. Be more positive of your achievements. Not important. India's economic recovery inspires awe. Like, Nirmala Sitaraman. So, Nirmala Sitaraman is talking about how exactly India is able to come back, and she spoke in the event organized by the Hindu. So, not so important, don't worry. We will read these type of things for next year in economic survey in a detailed manner. So, most of the questions that you get will be from that economic survey itself, right? So, this is another important thing. See, a center bans export of broken rice due to domestic demand. See, guys, in this particular article, we are trying to say that recently India has stopped exporting of broken rice, especially to countries like China, Senegal, Vietnam, Djibouti, and Indonesia. So India is planning to ensure that we are not exporting broken rice because there is a fear that, like, in our country there may be reduction in the production this year, because in this Kharif season, if we check the number of or the hectares of area in which paddy is cultivated has reduced drastically. So, as it has reduced, we are all skeptic about it. That what if we do not have enough? What if we do not have enough paddy for our own people, right? So, this is the reason we are planning not to export this. So, nothing much, don't worry. These type of decisions will be taken regularly, but questions won't come on such aspects. Fine, but this is very, very important. Make anti-TB campaign a mass movement. President, stigma around the disease should be eradicated. See, guys, whenever we talk about tuberculosis and other diseases, we can remove them only when the public will come out of certain stigma. This is very, very important from ethics point of view, where in ethics they try to argue that whenever or wherever there is any sort of stigma, that is when there is attitude, you need to go for mass movement campaigns to ensure that tuberculosis is removed permanently. So she is talking about Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan that must become a mass campaign to reduce TB. Fine. According to United Nations as well, that is United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as well, it is mandatory that every country should reduce TB by 2030, whereas we are keeping a target till 2025. I want you to make a small note. You write schemes, science and technology, schemes, science and technology schemes, hyphen, Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt, Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. Full stop. You write below. TB is one of the major problem. TB is one of the major problem in most parts of the world. In most parts of the world, and India is also affected. Is also affected. Full stop. Under UN Sustainable Development Goals. Under UN Sustainable Development Goals, all the nations have to all the nations have to eradicate TB, eradicate TB by 2030. But but Indian government has said Indian government has set 2025 as the deadline. Okay. So guys, apart from that, Kartavya Path I told you is important. And guys, this issue, basic skills poor in regional languages, NCRT. This is very, very important for you when we are talking about our education, social justice. Fine, social justice. Now I'll tell you the points. You see, first I'll explain, then I'll tell you the points. See guys, in this article it tries to say that basic skills are very poor in regional languages, and they say foundational learning of students in Hindi is poor, but their performance in regional languages in some states was even worse. This is what the research done by NCRT has told, and it says that around 53% of class 3 students in 18 states surveyed for Hindi proficiency either lacked or had limited knowledge and skills. What they're trying to tell us, if you talk about Karnataka, if you talk about Andhra, Kerala, and many other places, people in Karnataka are not able to read Kannada. People in Andhra Pradesh are not able to read Telugu. People in Kerala are not able to read Malayalam. So, this is one of the biggest issue, because today we are thinking that we must give education in our regional language. Fine, but majority of the people are not able to study or read their own regional languages. When that is the case, how can we ensure that national education policy must be in regional language when people are not in a position to read basic language, is what NCRT is trying to tell. So I want you to write that, you write below education, social justice education. In a recent survey, in a recent survey made by NCRT, made by NCERT, we normally observe that, we normally observe that many people, many people in, many people in regional, regional states, regional states like Karnataka, Karnataka, Kerala, Andhra, Andhra are not performing well, are not performing well when compared to, when compared to other, other regions, when compared to other regions, especially Hindi, especially Hindi. Full stop. In most of the states, in most of the states, children are, children are not able to read, children are not able to read, reading comprehension, reading comprehension with proficiency, with proficiency. This would affect, this would affect introduction of NEP, introduction of NEP. Yes, yes. So guys, now apart from this, there is nothing much to read in international relations today, guys. Even in economy, nothing much, right? So these were some of the important issues that we had to cover. Thanks for your time and sorry for the delay.